homesteading to prepping to common horse sense, we are College Hill Farm. Well, the corn looks good. It's looking real good. The sunflowers I've really come on. These have been in the ground just 1 month. Okay, good warm weather, and those sunflowers come on quick. They're already almost as tall as me. Now here's our okra that we did. The okra is about knee high down through there. Again, it's about a month old, so it's doing pretty good. But I'm really pleased so far with the corn. It just remains to be seen if it pollinates well enough to make all of the cobs full. But we'll see. Welcome back to College Hill Farm. Well, today we're planting 6-week beans. Now, 6-week beans have been a staple in my family for generations. My grandmother grew them, my mom grew them, maybe her great-grandmother grew them. I don't know. 6-week beans are a bush bean. Granny always called them a bunch bean because they grow in clumps. But they grow in such a way that in 6.5, 7 weeks, you can just pull them up and harvest them. And they bear heavy. So, I've been having a lot of problems here the last little bit. This has been probably the worst gardening year I've ever had. Because of the heat, one of my main problems is heat. And we've had, since June the 1st, we've had like 22 days of heat warnings, which is highly, highly, highly unusual. So we've had so many days that the heat index was above 100 degrees that it's just got me whooped down. So I was late getting everything planted to begin with because of a family emergency, and I haven't had the energy to tend it as well as it needs it. Now the corn's looking good, everything looks pretty good, but the weeds are getting ahead of me because, you know, and I've always told you if you let too many weeds, you don't get no stuff. So hopefully I can keep the weeds down enough to get some stuff. So we're going to plant these 6-week beans this morning. I'm going to plant them with my Earthway planter. Now, the last thing I planted with the planter, and I showed you at the beginning of this video, was the okra. The okra is up pretty. There's a few weeds and stuff in it, but you know, it's the okra will make pretty good. Even with some weeds, they'll outgrow most stuff. The sunflowers are the same way. There'll be a few weeds, but they'll outgrow most things. One thing about sunflowers, and it's why I generally don't plant beans around sunflowers. Sunflowers exude a substance that keeps other things from growing around them. They're not perfect at it, but if you looked at my sunflowers out there, you would see that the weeds just have not grown around them like they've grown around the okra or any other things. Sunflowers are pretty dominant. So anyway, let's get this plate off. The last thing I planted was okra, so I've got to take the plate off. Now, what I'm going to use is this bean plate. Now, there's a thing inside the planter that goes in, that these set in these grooves, and you put it in the grooves and it twists and that locks it into place. So, I'm going to use a bean plate. Now, what this will do is it'll plant 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It'll plant 10 every 36 inches. So about every 3.5 inches, it plants a bean seed. And this is big enough it might plant 2, because here's my 6-week beans. Here's my 6-week beans. They are not a great big bean seed. Here's something in comparison. Put a penny down there so you can see, to give you a comparison to size. Okay? If I put that up on there, you could probably get 10 of those on a penny. So they're not a great big seed. They make an awful lot of beans for a row. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 2 rows this year, because this is 2018 seed. So I'll do 2 rows and save half a row of seed. That way I'll have fresh seed. This seed's 4 years old. So 5 years is about it for bean seed. Now let's get this plate in. And it just goes in. And twist locks into place. That's it right there. Now I fill this with some bean seed. There it is, filled up. Now, I'm doing something different. I have not had a chance to get out and plow this right before I planted. That's unusual. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Now, right down through the center of this is where I'm going to put them, because I want to have enough room. Over here's my okra. I want to have enough room that right in there is where I'm going to plant those. But now, this was plowed over a week ago. So that ground has had some rain on it, and it's a little heavier duty than normal tilled ground. So we're going to see how the Earthway planter does with that. I don't know. I might have to go back and go hook up the tractor, but I don't know if I got enough energy to do that this morning. But if I need to get these done, because this is the 25th, it's supposed to rain this evening. This is the 25th of July, and then I plant the fall garden as close to August the 1st as I can. So I need to get these beans in the ground, and then I'll harvest them in toward late September. All right. Okay, I was worried that it wouldn't cover well because of this dirt being hard. But when the little nose of that went through the dirt, it really broke it up. So it did just fine. Covering back over, having the chain pull back behind it and cover those over. So I would bet those will be up in 5 days. We're supposed to have 3 or 4 days of rain starting tonight. So if we get 3 or 4 days of rain, that'll be up and be where I can plow it as soon as the ground gets dry and keep the weeds out of it. But now this time of year, I've plowed enough that weeds generally aren't a problem. Now, as close to August the 1st, we'll be planting our fall garden. And I'll show you what all we plant in that. We'll do that on August the 1st, but I'm behind in editing, so it won't upload until later. So now, if you like this stuff, this homestead and do-it-yourself kind of thing, be certain to come on out to our channel and subscribe. We do this stuff all the time, and we upload on Sundays. Now, with that being said, time for me to get another row of these in over in the hill garden and get on to the next thing.